2025 is the year of AI agents, and I can honestly say that it is not just hype. AI agents are very powerful if you know how to use them. I'm going to show you two ways you can use AI agents. One of them is completely autonomous, easy and powerful but expensive. The other is more complicated to set up but is free. I will also share with you the agents that I built myself so that you can use them in your own projects for free. Hi, my name is Jad. On this channel, I bring you the best ways to implement AI in your uiux workflow. And today, we're taking it to a whole new level with AI agents. We're gonna talk about Manus, which is hands down the most powerful AI tool that I interacted with so far. Then we'll get into MindStudio, a platform that allows you to build your own AI agents. I'll show you exactly how it works so that you can build your own agents. Alright, let's start with Manus. Manus is an automated agent. That means you don't need to set up anything before you use it. It analyzes your request and figures out what steps it needs to complete and will perform all the tasks in a virtual machine. You can watch it work and will give you all the documentation you need. This process takes time because it's actually using a virtual browser to perform all the tasks. It's very easy to use. All you need to do is write a very detailed prompt. Let me show you how it works. Here I entered this prompt. I said I'm starting a travel planner web app. Conduct the following UX research and discovery tasks. And then I specified what I need from a high level. I said market research, competitive analysis, trends analysis, key user segments, and user personas. That's all I asked for. I hit submit, and it started by creating a task list for everything it needs to do. And then it started going through the tasks one by one. It went through all of the websites that it needs to go through to collect information, and then it generated the data that I need. And it kept updating the task list that it has, all on its own. This took around 20 minutes to complete, but depending on your request, it might take an hour if you're asking for more things. It does not seem to have a limit. It will keep going until it completes everything you asked for. The cool thing here is that it actually does the work. It doesn't just collect the data from the internet. Like one of the things that I asked for here is a competitive analysis, and it actually went to each of the competitors' website to figure out their features and their usability, just like a human would. You can watch it work in the virtual browser. It kept going step by step. Then at the end, it gave me the documentation that I need. But that was too much text for me. So I asked it to present all of the research info in a website so that I can interact with it, because I didn't want to jump between documents and read all of that text. So then it did that, and it created an interactive experience for me to access the research data. It developed a website and it hosted it live on the web. It gave me a link, and look at that. Now I have all of the research data presented visually, and I can share this link with anyone on my team. I can view the market research here, all visual. I have the competitive analysis. It's really detailed and thorough. Trends analysis. There's so much useful details here. It created user segments, behavior-based, purpose-based, and it identified high-value segments. Really impressive. Then it created personas based on my user segments. Very detailed, and it all makes complete sense for my product. Then it gave me a comparison of the personas and prioritization. And finally, it gave me strategic recommendations and executive summary with a feature priority matrix and core features per phase and uiux recommendations, the technical recommendations, and the business strategy. It went even further by giving me a roadmap and key success metrics. This is absolutely insane. It's like working with a person that is extremely competent and goes above and beyond for each task. It's proactive, it understands the goal, and does all of the work. I never got this much detail from working with Claude or ChatGPT. It feels like they only scratch the surface, while this goes very deep for each request. Then I moved on to the next step. I said, based on all the research data, let's start creating a travel planning web app called Travel Pro. I said, create a requirements document that includes the following: a user journey map, a site map, and detailed prompts to be used to generate the UI for the main pages. Then I explained how the prompts should be structured to work with UX Pilot. And here, because I was teaching it something new, it automatically added it to its knowledge base. You can click on the book icon here, and you will see that it learned how UX Pilot prompts should be formatted. Amazing. And you can also add your own data manually here if you wanted to know something specific about your project. So it started working, and another cool thing here is that you can talk to it while it's working, and it will change its course based on what you interrupt it with. Here I noticed that I was running low on credits, so to make sure that it doesn't spend too many tokens, I said the sitemap should be in plain text, and it adjusted everything while it's working. Then after about 10 minutes, it came back with everything I need. It gave me a sitemap, very detailed. I never got this much detail from Claude. This is absolutely next level. It gave me every step of the way for each user type. This packs so much value, and again, I never got this much info from any other LLM before. Then it gave me the UX pilot prompts, one for the whole app context, and then one for each page. Homepage, all the details, top to bottom, discovery page, trip creator, and on for every page of the app. And then finally, a requirements document that includes all of the info. You can export it as a PDF, and now I have a comprehensive document with 18 pages that includes everything I need to start building the app. Manus is still not publicly available for everyone as of filming this video. I personally applied for the waitlist and I got access a few days later. Just go to their website and fill out their waitlist form, and you should be getting access within a few days or a few hours. This is absolutely blowing my mind. I'm really interested. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I will definitely be using this in my professional projects. The only issue is that it's expensive, but as a new user you will get 1000 credits for free. And 1000 credits is not much. I used them all in this video. And their plan is quite pricey. It's $40 and you get just under 4000 credits. That's not much at all. And then you have a $200 per month plan that gives you 20,000 credits. I mean, 4,000 credits can get you through a whole project, but you cannot be using this daily. You should be putting more time on crafting the perfect prompts and then get it to do the deep work. And for that, you need to understand the foundations of UI UX in order to know exactly what to ask for. It really helps to rely on my own knowledge of UI UX foundations. So if you want to empower yourself to be able to work with any AI environment, for your UX, I strongly suggest Skillshare, the sponsor of this video. I've been a member of Skillshare since 2018, and it played a huge part in accelerating my skills and staying up to date with the best practices and tools for your UX. So if you want to solidify your UI UX skills, I recommend this class on fundamentals of usability to really understand how to optimize your product. And this other class on design thinking, which is an essential skill to have when you are solving problems through design. I love the Skillshare model. It's the largest online community for creatives. It's really easy to follow and learn at your own pace at any skill level. You can find a class in any category, like logo design, photography, graphic design, AI, marketing, and many more. Plus, learning directly from industry experts allowed me to think like them and follow their professional journey. Like for me, I learned the whole process of making YouTube videos effectively and efficiently from MKBHD himself. Skillshare can help you take your career, skills, hobbies, passions, or side hustles to the next level. The first 500 people to use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So click the link now to make sure that you're one of the first 500 to take advantage of unlimited access for a whole month. Thank you Skillshare for supporting my channel and my viewers. Now let's move on to another method of working with AI agents. And this time we're creating agents using MindStudio. Here you have to manually build the functions that an agent will go through. It takes some time to set up, but then you will be able to use it for all of your projects. Go to MindStudio and then in the Build tab you can create your own agent to do pretty much anything you want. I created 4 agents here. I had more but I deleted them. But it took me a long time, partly because I was still learning how it works. But now I can create agents much faster because I understand all the possibilities that you can work with. So there's definitely a learning curve here just to understand what you can work with and the limitations and the capabilities. So to create an agent here, you will need to work in the automations tab, and then you'll see a start and end to your flow. Then you can add steps in between. And to figure out what steps you need, you have to prepare a plan before you start building your agent. Let me take you through the options here and then I'll show you what I built. Click on the plus sign and then click all blocks. Here you'll see all the different actions you can add. And the best way to learn what each does is by experimenting with them. Here you have blocks that generate content, then blocks that collect data, and blocks that interact with the user. These are mainly the ones that I used for everything in my projects. Let's jump into the first agent that I built here. So this one generates a market research report. I have one block to collect user data, which is the project name and the project brief. It saves them to a variable. A variable is a set of data that I can retrieve later. So I did that for the name and for the project brief. Then I added a block that generates text based on the project info. So I give it a prompt here that gets the variables and works with them. I told it what research data to create and how to respond. And then I assigned a variable to the output and I called it market research. So now all of my market research can be retrieved using this variable. Then I added a chart block that takes the market research data and generates a chart. And now I want to present the research data visually. So I added another generative text block to create HTML code to present a visual web page with my data. Then I added a generate asset block, which takes my code and creates a web page with it. I gave it an output variable and I added a block that displays the result to the user. Let's test it out. Here's the input form. I'll say Travel Pro and I'll just say Travel Planning App. It will start working through all of the steps in the background. And finally, it will give me a market research report in a web page. Amazing. Now, let me show you a more complicated agent that I built. This one will give me a project requirements document and a structure for my web app. I started with user input for the project info, and then I added a context block which will dynamically collect info from the user. You can determine the amount of questions to ask. That means it will generate questions based on your project brief to flesh out the requirements for the features. I gave it instructions here. Then another one to flesh out the UI styling preferences from the user. Here I set 3 questions only. And then I added a user block just to collect more info from the user in case there's more information to be added from the person who is creating the app or the founder or the client. Then I collected all of this data and asked it to generate a requirements document. Then I added a block to generate a PDF document. Then display it to the user. So at this point the user will see the PDF document, and then I added an option to ask the user if they want to generate a product structure. So if the user clicks yes here, then we will move on to generate the user flowchart. And then we'll generate a sitemap. All of that is in plain text so far, but then I want to generate the HTML code to convert it into a web page so that I can see the sitemap and the flowchart visually. And then finally, I added the step to display the web page to the user. Let's try it out. I'll say Travel Pro and Travel Planning App. It will figure out what questions to ask here and will take me through a questionnaire. It will collect relevant info from me to come up with the requirements. I'll answer the questions based on my vision. And then it will ask me a few questions about styling. I'll add some more info. And then using all of this information, it will generate a requirements document. It will give me a link to view the PDF. And here we go, we have a comprehensive document with all of my requirements. Now I'll click next, and then I'll say create a product structure. And there we go, it gave me an interactive page with a flowchart and a sitemap. And again, this is live on the web, so I can share it with anyone just by sending a link. As you can see, you can now create agents that help you with the workflow based on your own process. MindStudio is free to use and they give you $5 of credit when you sign up. And that goes a long way. Like here for all of my testing and all of my learning, I used $1.62 and that's very cheap. I created some agents to learn and then I deleted them. And it only cost me 5 cents to play around with it and learn how to use it. So I deleted those agents and moved on to creating proper agents. And my cost only jumped up here when I used a more powerful large language model. Because at the last step of this agent, I needed a bigger context window to generate an interactive web page. I used the lower model throughout my process, but here in the end I used Claude 3.7 Sonnet to generate the code for the website. And you can pick from all of the models available out there. This is a quick overview, but let me know if you want a more detailed video on the process of creating these agents. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to the agents that I created, so that you can use them in your own projects and you can modify them based on your own process. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll answer everything down in the comments. And if you want to dive deeper into the AI world and uiux and building products, I invite you to join my community where we discuss and discover new ways to work with AI. Plus, I have multiple courses on implementing AI in your workflow and a prompt library for the whole product design process. And I have additional longer AI tooltip videos where I dive deeper into topics. Check out the link below to find out how this community can help you with your journey. It's a great place to learn together and shape the future of the industry. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.